So this one's a long time coming. This is our polishing package. I'm calling it package D for the Obsessed Garage store. And this package, before you get too bent out of shape, because I know naturally a lot of you are going to go click the link and you're going to see a big number associated with what all this stuff costs. Just know that, you know, when you decide to start polishing, you know, I think if you want to do it right, and if you want to do it similarly to the way that I do it in all of these videos that I've been making over the last 4 years, then this stuff, when you add up line by line by line, becomes rather expensive. Now, these are the products that I use, like almost on every single car that I ever polish. And so that was my goal when I set out to create a polishing package, and I started creating line items for every single thing. I mean, my goal was to have a package where it would be everything that I use, but this is the stuff that I use almost every time I polish, right? So this was the tricky part. I mean, if I want, we showed you the cabinets and the shelves that are behind us on camera here. I mean, I have probably 25 or 30 polishes, different polishes, and one of the best lessons I've learned over the course of the last 5 or 6 years of going and learning from some of the best pros in the industry is to pick a polish, pick a process, and then get better at the process rather than just swapping out all kinds of products. And so as I'm putting together, or as I was putting together this package, I had to pick a moment in time where these are the products that I use and have become decent at using, and these are the products that I think that guys on our level, or even maybe a few levels below me, can pick up and get a good result. Will it be perfection? In some cases, yes. In other cases, no. You may need a more sophisticated process. You may need to add things like water or pick up some other professional grade products. But the package that you're looking at here is the stuff that I think that anyone in any car could pick up these products and get a good result. Again, will it be 99% perfected? That comes down to skill, technique, and then maybe some additional products, which I will be suggesting in the future. We'll be adding to the store as supplements to the basic, right? This is the basic package. By no means is this entry level. This would be, I would call this high-end basic, right? And we're going to go through each product here and explain why and how here in a second. But this is the polishing package. Doesn't include the polishers. You have the option to buy the polishers as part of the package. I really didn't want to scare everybody away. When you add the polishers in, now you're talking about a really big number. But if you haven't polished, or you haven't gone into this, or haven't opened up that door, just know that when you start to build your product line, or build your set of products that you're going to use, that this is an expensive part. So just know that and be ready for that. So let me take you through what this package includes, right? So again, package starts here, and then the machines are an option, right? And so this is the base of what my recommendation would be if you wanted to start polishing like I do. Whether that's right or wrong, that's questionable. But if you want to polish like I do, and so product one, or we'll call it D1 in package D, or the polishing package, is going to be tape. And so what I'm including in the package, and forgive me, I've used these rolls a little bit here, but the first product in the package is 3M precision tape. So you're going to mask off the car, right? So I need to mask the car in order to be able to polish without damaging the trim. And so the sizes that I like, the size that I recommend, would be 2-inch. So the package includes two 2-inch rolls of 3M precision tape. two, and forgive me, the 1-inch roll, I've used half of it, but two 1-inch rolls of 3M precision tape, and then a single 1/4-inch roll of 3M precision tape. And the reason why I can't just go open a new box is all of my packing and shipping as of this moment is still at my parents', and my parents, they're doing all the packing and shipping for me in Pennsylvania, and I'm in Florida. And so I'm going to show you my stinky old 3-inch because my dad has all the new stuff. And so you're getting a real world example of the stuff that I really do use in my polishing process. So the basic idea here is that I've been such a big fan of when I was introduced it from the guys at Esoteric up in Ohio, introduced me to Kamikaze tape. Kamikaze sources it from a Japanese company called Kamoi, and the advantage of this type of tape is that we call it precision tape for a couple of reasons. It leaves a really tight line, or it leaves like if you were to do a polishing line or a 50-50 line, it really does a great job of leaving a very straight, very clean, crisp line. There's no residue left behind. This I find has less issue with grabbing and pulling adhesive off of even the front of the tape as you're polishing, and then it's a bit more contourable. It's not like a vinyl or electrical tape where you could make a circle with it, but it is a little more contourable. And the nicest thing about this when you're taping a car is the fact that it's very easily ripped. So as I'm making a line, I rip the tape a lot easier. And you'll know, now this is made by 3M or sourced by 3M. My guess is this is the same stuff as Kamoi. The advantage of the 3M version, it's much more readily available. We can get it here in the US quicker and easier. It does say made in Japan in all of these rolls, so it's probably the same tape, and it comes in much bigger rolls at less cost, right? So these are the starting products in the package would be some rolls. So two 2-inch, two 1-inch, and a single 1/4-inch roll. This 1/4-inch roll will probably last you the rest of your life. I use this in certain areas like the expansion joint on the top of my GT3. I need this. I may need it for some little tight areas that the 1-inch is just too big to use. So that's the tape we use for the package. You need that. Second product is going to be CarPro Eraser. And you'll need a gallon of this. And so I'm including both a liter, so for application, a liter bottle, and then a full gallon. The idea behind this, you'll use it for several different things. One, you'll use it, so let's say again, you go back to package C, we decontaminate the entire car, which would include iron removal, clay bar, strip wash, and then you've dried the car off. You want to make sure that process generally doesn't leave a lot of residue, but after you do the auto scrub or the clay bar, you'll usually have some of the lube residue. And so what I'll generally do is before even assessing the paint, after doing the decontamination, I'll spray the panel down with eraser, wipe it off nice and cleanly, usually with one of my polish removal towels, and then I can get the lights out and assess it. By the way, lights are not part of this package. Lighting, I think, is complicated enough to have its own package, so that will actually be package E. So we'll address lighting here coming up. But we have a liter of eraser, which I'll use to assess the paint. Then, let's say we needed to compound the paint, with which I'll talk about in a second here, our Jescar correction compound. After compounding, we would use it again to remove the oils and remove whatever's left over, the residue from the compound. Again, while either assessing your result or even just in between. So let's say I were to compound the whole vehicle, I would come back and finish the car with our Sonax Perfect Finish. I would use this again. You can see why we're going to need a gallon of this stuff. You'll use it quite often. And then finally, after I finish polish, I'm going to use it again in order to remove all of the mineral oils, all of the polish oils, polish residue, in order to do our last step, whether we're doing my finishing package like Jescar Power Lock Plus, and Colonite 845, or you're doing some sort of coating, you're going to want this for that as well. So you can see you'll use quite a bit of this stuff. I also use it to prep the glass, prior to doing any kind of coating or sealant on the glass wheels, prior to any time you really need a really clean, broken down surface. I like this stuff. It's expensive, but it ends up, and again, a gallon goes a long way. So even though I'm including a gallon plus a liter, you're still going to get, especially if you're only doing a car or two a year, you're going to get years out of this gallon. But it's a great product to have laying around. It generally doesn't do well with tar and things like that. That's why we have Carpo Tar X in our decon package. But it's just a great all-around product. I like it much better than using isopropyl alcohol. It's less grabby. It smells a lot better. I guess IPA doesn't have a smell, but it smells fantastic, and the results you get is really great. So that's our eraser product. So now as we get into our polishes, I wanted to include 105, 205, M100, some of the Menzerna stuff. I have all that stuff. I mainly just look at it on the shelf because 95% of the time, if I do need to compound, so if I have some swirl marks, scratches, issues in the paint that I couldn't get out with my workhorse, which is Perfect Finish, then I'm going to use Jessicar Correction Compound. In the world of compounds or aggressiveness, I would put this below, I'd probably even put it below M105 from a cutting perspective. This is what we call a diminishing polish. So in my experience, diminishing polishes are a little easier for us DIY guys to work with. Now I know lots and lots of pros that use this stuff too. This has a lot of characteristics that make it a lot easier to work with. Whereas some of the other polishes, some solvent-based polishes like we saw Andy Ward and Jason Kilmer, if you haven't watched the wet sanding series and the advanced polishing series, we're using the polished techniques of diluting those products by adding M205 to M100. I know I'm throwing lots of jargon at you, but we can certainly put together more sophisticated systems, but again, 95% of the time I'm going to polish out scratches or swirls in the paint. This is the product that I'm going to go to. So Jessicar Correction Compound is one of those products that we'll grab if we have some scratches, swirls, deeper things that we need to get out. And generally, in my case, almost exclusively, I'm going to use this with our microfiber cutting pads. Right. Now in this package, I'm including 5-inch or 5/6-inch pads with the foam pads and 3-inch pads, right? So for our combination of my go-to for any kind of compounding or heavier correcting, I'm going to use Jessicar Correction Compound with a Rupes LHR 15 Mark II or ES, the previous generation, and a Meguiar's microfiber cutting disc or cutting pad. There are lots of other competitors, lots of other companies out there that make now microfiber pads. This is still my go-to. I always wonder, am I stuck on the Meguiar's because I know how it works, and I pick up some of the others, and generally, at least to date, I still think this is the best pad. This is the best pad and best product for the job. The fibers, then these are the cutting discs. They have a heavy cutting disc and they have a finishing disc. I only have, with all this junk that I have behind me in my cabinets, I only have the microfiber cutting discs. It's all I ever use. These things do a great job. And so what you'll find in most applications, the Jessicar with a Meguiar's microfiber cutting disc, I do subscribe to making sure that I'm covering or priming the pad, priming the microfiber, getting in all the fibers. I'm going to use this in combination with this. And a lot of times you'll find on grays, silvers, whites, it's almost pointless to go and finish because this stuff finishes so nicely. You get a lot of initial cut. As they work the polish in, it breaks the polish down time, diminishes the polish. You'll find that this dusts very little and wipes off super smoothly. So easy to get off the paint. And so the combination of cutting ability, finishing ability, this finishes down really, really nicely, and removal, it just makes it, I think, the best polish in the world. I think this is the best correction or compound in the world, but that's just my experience with this product, having used pretty much, I don't want to say every polish, but I've used the vast majority of anything that rolls off of your head or off the top of your head. I've tried and used, and so again, I don't think it makes a lot of sense, especially if you don't have a lot of experience, to just jump around from polish to polish to polish. I think it's better to learn how to use a polish, change up your technique, change up how many passes you make, how much pressure you're using, the type of pad you're using, and really get accustomed to using a single compound or a single polish, then start to add to your arsenal. That's a lot of what I've been doing. I've been guilty of chasing product, just changing out the product, and instead learning the product and then adding other products as you gain more experience with it. So correction compound, the package includes 6 5-inch microfiber cutting discs. I very rarely ever get out my 21 with a 6-inch backing plate, so I hope I said 5-inch, but I very rarely use 6-inch pads. I almost always use 5-inch on even the Raptor. I did the whole thing with a 5-inch pad. So these are our Meguiar's microfiber cutting discs. Same thing, you need your 3-inch for your LHR 75E or the Mini. You'll really want these in your arsenal as well, so the 3-inch pads. The next product included in the package would be Sonax Perfect Finish. By the way, I'm including the 32 ounce and the 1 liter, so roughly the similar sizes. So we have roughly a liter or a quart versus a liter of product. Again, a liter is a big container, but I don't ever want to run out. So my suggestion, and the reason why I'm including the bigger, larger bottles in the package, is so that you don't get halfway through a car. Maybe it's your 4th or 5th car, and you don't want to run out of stuff. So I suggest having a liter. So if I'm using Jescar 95% of the time for my correction, I'm going to use Sonax Perfect Finish. More than that, more often than that. So I shouldn't quantify this stuff. I should just stick to the point. Sonax has a scale, right? And so they have a cut scale and a gloss scale. And so their cut scale on this is 1 to 6. So they say that this has a cutting ability of 4 on a 1 to 6 scale. 1 being the most cut, 6 being the least cut. And then the gloss, 1 being the least gloss, 6 being the most gloss. Again, this is another diminishing polish. Yeah, there's going to be some filling to all of these. I've found the filling to be minimal. At least if it is filling, there's not really much left to fill, because these take out most of the imperfections that most of us discerning, obsessed garage types are going to be dealing with. And so the filling, I think, of this is largely a non-event. We actually did a study of what did M205 versus a Sonax Perfect Finish look like. They looked very different. The result was very different. Most people, at least me, preferred the look of Sonax Perfect Finish. I stole this from Esoteric again. I stole this from Todd Cooperrider. This product, I had this. I actually had one of the very first prototypes of Jescar. I've had a relationship with Jeff Silver, who owns Jescar and is the importer for Manzurna products. By the way, this is a very different product than the Manzurna products. I think it's better, similar to FG400, but a better product. But this I learned about at Esoteric. I've always heard about it. I had it in my cabinet, just hadn't used it very much. I was a Menzerna user primarily. This, after seeing the results with this, especially on a one-step, this polish will be your go-to more often than not. And so the way I would use this is, depending on the paint, you may not even feel the need to finish. But what you could do is you could do a compounding with Jescar and the microfiber cutting, and then finish with white or yellow. And so we're going to include white Rupes and yellow Rupes pads, white being softer. Just depends on the paint, depending on how you're doing. I find myself with this combination more often than not, and more often than not doing a one-step. So when I'm talking about one-step, I'm saying we're not going to compound, we're just going to polish with a yellow pad and this Sonex Perfect Finish. Again, it starts as a 4 cut, finishes down as a 6, and so you're going to get, you know, the let's say the grains of sand in here break down as you make consecutive passes. And so again, it depends on the paint, depending on how you're doing. But I think, you know, a good rule of thumb is that you could do, you know, 3 and 3 and call it a day, you know, or even 2 and 2 and use that process throughout the car, not knowing anything, not knowing about lights, and analyzing the paint, and you're going to get a fantastic result. Even on a single step, you're going to see lots of improvement. Maybe you won't remove all the scratches and swirls, but on, again, most OG level cars, this go-to as a one-step really does well. I will find myself, like on my GT3 or you know, on my previous M3, where I'd really maintained it well, that I may just use this on a white pad and make a couple of passes just to jewel it up after a decon, after a clay or an auto scrub, and the result tends to be really great. So use this as a finisher, following compound, or use it as a one-step. Again, when I say one-step, a medium or mild polish that then finishes down into finishing. So you may want some other finishing polishes in the arsenal. Again, over time I'm going to add more to the store, but for now I think you can accomplish 99% of what needs to be done to pretty much any paint with these two the combination of these two. This being used hopefully only once in the life of the car in your ownership. So if you wash the car like I suggest, you should only need this. Right, but every new car that I've ever gotten, I've had to, actually I take that back, the Raptor didn't need this, but most of the new cars that I've ever gotten needed a multi-step compounding. The GT3 RS needed it, the GT3 needed it, my Audi needed it, and so most the M3 needed it, but funny enough, both Fords didn't need a compounding, so largely probably because Ford never touched the car when I got it. So the pads that are included in the package, I'm doing 6 of the 3-inch. Now when I say 3, it's a 3-inch backing plate, but a 4-inch pad. You can see the angle of it, right? And so these are Rupes pads. I'm testing Lake Country. I've had all different types of pads over the years, Buff and Shine as well. I like the Rupes pads. I mean, maybe it's probably because I've become accustomed to them. I've been using them for probably 4 years now, 3.5, 4 years now, maybe a little longer than that. And so these are the pads that I recommend, and the pads that are included in the package. So we do 6 yellow 3, 6 white. So these Rupes calls fine, I call them polishing, or sort of medium polishing. So again, used in combination very often with Sonex Perfect Finish. The white is ultra fine or finishing, and so we'll call this polishing, this finishing. We also have 6 5-inch back, 6-inch front, right? So these go on a 5-inch backing plate on your polisher, and then we have the 5-inch/6-inch on the white. Last part of the package, or last part of the non-optional package, would be including 6. These are the Rag Company. These are what are called the car wash towel. I'm telling you, I keep wanting what most conventional wisdom would tell you would be a better towel. So I keep breaking out all these fancy high-end plush towels, or even lower piled towels than these. But these 360 GSM 16 by 27 inch, these are $1.90 a piece in my store. Relatively inexpensive. Polishing towels include 10 of them in the package, which continue to be my go-to for polish removal. So these I use exclusively, and yellow is no different than orange or green. They're all the same towel. I use the green ones for the interior, the red ones for wax removal, but the yellow is, I don't know, I've just always associated yellow with polish removal, and so we include 10 of those in the package. So that's our package for polishing, where we have, again, wrapping up, we have 2 2-inch rolls, 2 1-inch rolls, a single 1/4-inch roll of 3M precision tape. We have a liter of eraser, a gallon of eraser. We have a quart or 32 ounces of Jescar correction compound, 6 5-inch pads, 6 3-inch, both microfiber cutting pads. We have a liter of Sonex Perfect Finish, 6 5-inch / 6-inch Rupes fine polishing pads, 6 3-inch / 4-inch, 6 5-inch / 6-inch ultra fine or finishing pads, foam pads, and then 6 of the 3-inch, and then we have 10 of the car wash, or 10 of the Rag Companies, or what I'm calling my polish removal towel. So that's the package and what's inclusive in the base price of the package. Now we have an option. So these are optional, and the reason why I made these optional is because some of these people already have these things. Some people may want to add them separately. Some people may not want to carry the expense of the polishers, but I've given option for the 2 polishers that I use every time I ever polish a car. So I wanted to, now I have them all, and I actually have the pneumatics coming, I have the Nano, so I have all of the Rupes polishers. I've had the Griot's polishers. I've spent quite a bit of time with the Boss. I've never had any of the Flex stuff because I'm not a huge force rotation fan. I prefer random orbital, or what we call dual action, or DA, and the standard is the Rupes LHR 15 Mark II. So the 15 Mark II is an option. Make sure to go check out the videos specifically on this polisher, and why and how and how to use it. But this is a 5-inch backing plate which supports our 5-inch pads. And I think, again, I wouldn't get too hung up on 5-inch or 6-inch. I think most people are going to prefer, I know I prefer the 5-inch backing plate and 5-inch pad. You can get everything done with a 5-inch pad that you can get done with a 6-inch pad. And in fact, more so, because you can get into tighter areas and deal with contours a little better in most cases. So my preference is LHR 15 Mark II, which I use, which, if I had to have one polisher, this would be it. And I would try to tuck it into areas and do my best to get the job done with this if I could. I wouldn't recommend putting a 3-inch backing plate on this, and that's why this is my original. This is my LHR 75E, so for E for electric. This is our 3-inch backing plate for our 3-inch pads. All right, so they fit like so, and this machine is also available as an option. So you can choose package with the 15, or package with the 3-inch. The mini, or package with both, and you'll notice the price gets pretty significant because these aren't inexpensive. There's really no savings. The ask I have for all of this information I'm providing is that again, I don't run sales or discounts or bulk package discounts. What I'm asking for, my ask from you, is that everything is just marked at whatever the normal retail pricing is anywhere else, without any sales. So I'm not marking this stuff up. I'm just simply selling it for what the MAP pricing is, what the suggested retail pricing is on all of these products. So that's the polishing package with the options for the polishers. Make sure to go check out the specific polisher videos. I'll have lots of information on those. Also, there will be a specific product video for each one of these products. You can buy it all a la carte. You don't have to buy it as a package. Again, this has been my vision from the beginning, to have a place where someone who wants to do it like I do it, because you watch the video, someone who doesn't have the time or energy or care to do all of the research. This here, me showing you this, I don't know how many hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of hours, and how many, tens of thousands of dollars of trial and error, buying and trying and using, rarely using the wrong stuff. It's more just using stuff that then gets replaced by something else. But I started polishing cars in right around 2001, maybe the year 2000. It's 2018 now. So I started polishing cars 17 years ago. And I've been very, very fortunate to have a great career and a great income to be able to buy and try stuff that not everybody can do. And then I also happen to be blessed with a disorder, depending on how you look at it. I truly have clinically diagnosed obsessive compulsive disorder, where I have a hard time just settling. I have a hard time just picking something and without doing either exhaustive research or learning. I've been trained by some of the best in the world. I don't claim to be the best polisher in the world. I don't have as much time under a polisher. I only do my own cars. I don't do anybody else's. I don't do this I don't polish cars for a living. I don't intend to polish cars for a living. But what I do know is that these products work. And they work really, really well. Is it the best system in the world? I don't know. I mean, we could have an argument back and forth. But I do know that if you have a Golf, R34 Golf, if you have an Audi S4, if you have a BMW M3, you have a Porsche 911, you have a Ferrari 360 Modena, whatever you have, I know that this is going to get a good result for you. These are the products that I use almost all the time. Very rarely do I get anything else when I'm polishing outside of these products. And so I'm excited to be able to offer that to the world in a clean, organized fashion. I know it's expensive. Again, I'm not marking these up any. And in fact, some of the things like the towels, we're getting better pricing on the 3M stuff than you can get elsewhere. So when I put that together, I would take a little extra time if you want to go add up what this stuff costs, and you'll realize, I know the number's big. We're in the $700 range without the polishers. I know that's expensive, but that's just what this stuff costs. So anyway, this has been the vision I've had for polishing and for a polishing package. This has been the cornerstone of all of the packages that support this. This I think is the hardest part to figure out, and one of the most important parts if you're really into taking care of your car. So thanks for watching. I know this is a long video, but it's a lot of complicated products. Make sure to go check out the individual product videos if you want some more information, more detail, and always stay tuned for me, watching me watch or use this stuff and demonstrate how to use it, and then go to other places and have other people demonstrate how to use it, and really live this dream of, again, I provide financial advice to people. I mean, shoot, I'm just a financial advisor here playing with this stuff, and then connecting great people to amazing products, and hopefully doing so in a fashion that we, as really discerning consumers, want to consume it. So thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more crazy. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor.